सजन बिन आए ना मोहे निंदिया रैन
Hello everyone. Hi, this is Rahul, your Filmi Baniya. And today I'm so happy that in continuation with our interaction with the team behind Bandish Bandits, today is a very, very special day for me as a podcaster, as I'll be talking to the actors of this amazing show for the first time. In fact, in our amazing podcast, we have never ever had actors before. And so I'm a bit nervous, so don't be a little, jiffy thinking about this. But it is such a pleasure to welcome the torch bearers from the acting perspective, Ritwik, Bhowmik, Radhe, and Shreya Chaudhary, Tamanna of Bandish Bandits. A big warm welcome to both of you from Filmi Baniya.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you so much, and we both are also equally nervous.
Yeah.
First of all, I just wanted to make a little disclosure about what I felt for this show. Now, today we are now, let me say this, that we are now having an avalanche of content online. So, there are like close to 9 new streaming networks which have come up in the last 1 year. So we are talking about 9 new outlets for talent. And I feel what Amazon and these streaming networks have done, they have actually gone on and given space to amazing, brilliant talent like you guys. And, because at the end of the day, I was just discussing with Amrit that there are only 52 Fridays in a year. At the end of the day, people have to, do stuff around those 52 Fridays. And the streaming networks have actually demolished that whole idea that there can be 52 Fridays, 52 premieres, blah, blah, IPL, blah, blah, Diwali, Eid, all that stuff. So we are seeing a very new and very interesting, a universe in which we have more scope to accommodate more talent. I mean, do you guys agree? Shreya, what's your view on that?
Absolutely, 100%. I feel one of the biggest booms of being on an OTT platform, like for example, Bandish Bandits coming out on Amazon Prime Video, released in over 300 countries across the world, not just globally, not just nationally all over India, but 300 more countries where people could watch our show. So I think for any actor, that is such a big deal. And like you said, there are just, that's the first time somebody said it that way, that there are only 52 Fridays, and that's such a valid point. And as much as I love going to the movies, we are in the middle of a lockdown where theaters are shut. So I feel very grateful that my work, I've been able to display my work on our show on a platform like Amazon Prime, and it has really opened up a lot of opportunities. I remember from the time that I started auditioning, wherein it was just the beginning of, I say, the digital boom, like they're calling it right now. And I feel like then within like say a year or two, the number of auditions I was had is. Because there were so many more opportunities for people to, go and work. And it's not just actors, I feel it's every department, because be it a show, be it a film, be it an ad, there's always a basic actor, camera team, costume team, etc. So I just feel like the entire industry and all the people who are involved are just very happy with the amount of increase in work for everybody.
Yes. Ritwik, what's your view?
Firstly, I absolutely agree with what Shreya said, and she put it really well. But again, what you said is absolutely true, that not only as actors, even for writers, for directors, for producers and musicians, everybody is getting a larger scope of performing, of creating and presenting of what they have. And that's a great deal. That's a huge deal, because art is not limited to anything or anybody. It's for for whoever wants to accept it. It's for everybody to create who wants to create it. So that I'm sure the digital space is doing excuse me, a great job at it. And having said all of that, having already been extremely blessed and fortunate that my debut, both of us did this large scale show on an OTT platform, on Amazon Prime Video, and we presented so well. And it's like a dream come true project, right? But having said all of that, then again, as an audience, I'm also a cinema lover. I love going to the theater. I love watching things on the big screen. I love listening to Dolby Atmos sound. So that love will never die out. So hopefully, what has happened now remains, and we find a great balance between the cinema watching experience, the community watching experience, and the personal experience that we have through our phones and our laptops and our TV screens. And at the end of the day, if new content is generated and a lot of people have more things to watch, everybody's happy. It's a win-win situation.
Super. So, guys, now I'll be fielding some fan questions who have been sending us messages on our podcast. Now, this one is from a friend of mine, Anshuman, who had also put questions for Anand and Amrit. And these guys are the Spik Meke group in Delhi. So, Spik Meke is, as you guys know, one of the oldest institutions when it comes to Indian classical music and the promotion of this art form across the world. So the first question is from Anshuman. How were you guys selected for Bandish Bandits? Shreya.
We actually went through a round of auditions. I think I went through a round of 3 auditions, where in my first audition, I was given 2 scenes and I had a singing audition as well. And then I went on to the next round, and the final round was with our director and producer themselves, Anand and Amrit, wherein it was actually very exciting because it was the first time I was giving an audition like this, because we were a bunch of 5 girls and 5 boys who were shortlisted. And you know, the usual audition process, if you ask any actors that, you know, you're given the script, you have to go and perform. Somebody gives you cues and then you go back home and you just hope for the best. But that day was amazing because what Anand and Amrit had, you know, managed to do is create a workshop out of the audition. So we had an entire day where from the morning we actually started with like some theatre exercises, some acting exercises, breathing exercises, a little bit of singing, and then after lunch, you know, they divided us into like you know, pairs and gave us scripts to, you know, go and perform. And they would actually give us individual time and take us through the scene, give us a little more information about the character and stuff like that. So that was just such a, I mean, enriching experience for an actor, you know, who had just started working, like for me. And, you know, to have that kind of time of the day from people like Anand and Amrit, who were, you know, who were so experienced and so like, you know, have done such amazing body of work, was very, very motivating, you know. And I remember going up to Anand and Amrit and telling them that, you know, I thank you so much for this day. So I remember, I mean, if I can speak a little more specifically for Tamanna, there were certain exercises that they had devised, you know, in terms of course, singing was a very big aspect, and, you know, they were very happy if you were a singer, a good singer, you could sing. But for them, I think they also were looking for somebody who could, you know, through their body language or, you know, just kind of embody the character, because they had a very clear vision as to how Tamanna is, how Radhe is, how this character is, how that character is. So they were just making us do very interesting exercises, and like through that gauging, you know. So yeah, so that was the process of at least me landing Tamanna.
The way you are sounding looks like you got a great GMAT score, you know.
Yeah.
Like an entrance exam. You know?
If I had, I probably wouldn't be giving this interview right now. I wouldn't have been an actor.
No, I think you guys are exceptionally talented, and I saw a spark of great talent. But more than that, the well-oiled machinery, what Amrit and Anand have built. You know, one of the major things about any kind of content you view now. So now is it like earlier, when I'm talking about like 2001, 2002, I was working in Arizona in the United States, and I used to work in Blockbuster. It was a video for rentals. And, you know, people would go for like, you know, college and, you know, paying the bills. So people would go and they say, okay, where is a horror film? So they'll go, okay, that is a horror section. Go there, you'll find 20 videotapes and DVDs, pick up one, and, you know, it's there. You would fill up a card like a library in your college or school, and then you'll get a tape, and you need to return this in a week. So now, fast forward this to today. If there is a movie which was released in 2001 and it had some credible filmmakers. Now, I'm working on a book myself. It's called Infinity Surfing. So what it means is that if something was released 20 years ago, And earlier you used to hunt for it. Where is that movie? 90% chances are, if it was a credible production house or decent people, above average people, it's available somewhere online. 90% chances there. And that's what I feel. What work you guys are putting today is going to be there forever, 24/7.
Yes.
You see what I'm trying to say. And Ritwik, just share your journey now. How did you get selected for Bandish Bandits?
Firstly, what you said is a huge deal. I mean, before I answer the question, is the fact that every actor is really craving for some shelf life for their work. And to begin on a platform like this, doing a show like this, is huge. So that I'm great. I'm really, really grateful that something like this has happened. But having said that, how it happened was my story is not as interesting as Shreya's. I actually landed quite late. I think a couple of months after the auditioning process started is when I got a call and I was asked to come and test for it. And I think I went in and gave like audition for 2-3 scenes that Radhe was there in the show.
Ritwik, can I request you to please raise your volume a bit? We're having a little bit of a sound issue.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, a little loud.
Yeah. Okay. So when I got a call for the test, I went in and I went into the selector's office, and on that first day, I think we did like a couple of scenes where it was just me and the casting assistant shooting and recording it, and then again, as Shreya said, we also had to sing. So there was the singing bit, and then later on, I think after a couple of days, I got another call saying that come for another round of auditions, and then I think there were like 2 or 3 rounds of auditions that I went through, and by the third one, I think I'd already met Shreya, and Shreya I think was already locked for the part for playing Tamanna, and I was introduced to her as Tamanna, and then we tested together, and after that we had a lot of look tests, costume trials and so on and so forth, and after all of these rounds is one day when I landed the part, and one day Amit just calls me and said that you're a Radhe. So my process, I think, into my journey into becoming Radhe was much simpler and not as exciting as Shreya. I did not get any of those workshops and any of those training sessions. Yeah. Once I was locked, there was a lot of it.
Oh, I think, this is very, this is like I think this sounds like a startup journey, like a startup or a founder or somebody who's marketing his talent. These initial days, these initial hiccups, those initial friends you meet before you do something big, I think it will always remain in our memories. And I think full credit goes to both of you, because I think nowhere in the show for the 10 episodes, I ever thought that you guys are quote unquote new talent. You the way it looks like you've gone through some serious training, and Ritwik is great. And Shreya, by the way, I think you have just mastered this art of. See, I have 2-3 very specific questions for you from my fans, and I will ask that as we move forward. But what Shreya you have done is that you've created a new feisty character. Like I told Amrit, like this is like a new template of an actress.
Honestly, that's such a huge compliment.
Because there are, we'll get into it, don't worry. There's a lot of stuff coming in for you, and we'll ask that question. Okay, so my next question is to you, Shreya. Now this is something really, I think everybody must have asked you, but I'm going to ask you again. What was the experience of working with these NSD stalwarts like Mr. Naseeruddin Shah? You have Rajesh Thailand, you have Shiba Chadda, you have Atul Kulkarni, basically the entire NSD gamut, and you guys, I don't know whether you guys have been to NSD or not, but these guys are institutions, and see, there is obviously the craft and the aura they command for their work. But just tell me, from the eyes of a new actor, how was it working with these stalwarts? First Shreya, then Ritwik.
So to be honest, it'll sound a little funny for me to say, but I mean, of course, all of them are such mega stars and stalwarts of acting of our industry. But for me, it's always been a dream, and I'm kind of somebody who's very academically driven. So for whatever reason, I've always like if you're an engineer, you aspire to get into, say, IIT. So when I wanted to become an actor, I was in my last year of college, and I was aspiring to maybe, apply and get into NSD or FTII. And suddenly I have like, what do I call them? Like the best of like both of these institutions, in one show, and I was getting to work with these people, interact with these people, speak to these people. So I was so excited, and then I think I only got a little nervous when just before meeting them, because I was like, because before that it was just a lot of excitement that, oh my God, I'm going to be meeting the Naseeruddin Shah, Atul Kulkarni, Shiva Chadda. Like, these are people I have like been watching for so long and like trying to learn a thing or two from just by seeing their work. So I was really nervous before meeting them, but each one of them, sir, literally from the point go, were just so welcoming and so normal that I don't think there was a second where after that I felt nervous around them as people. Then we arrived on set with them, and that nervousness kicked in again. And I actually asked myself that, why am I feeling so nervous? Because I know them, I've spoken to them, we've had lunch and chai together. Why am I feeling so nervous? And I realized it's because the amount of energy and dedication they bring to their work on the set. That it's just kind of infectious. You kind of don't want to slip up even for a second, because these people have been giving their 100% for decades now. So you're just like, okay, I really hope I can take in this energy and kind of, imbibe it, just to like not slip up at any point. So it was very, very exciting. And that nervousness, I think it was good nerves. It wasn't like, oh, I have to match up to them, or because that would have just been a stupid thought. That is impossible. I was just there to, enjoy and kind of like take up as much as I could as a sponge. So my experience with them, and luckily because of Anand and Amrit, they were just so great when it came to, bringing the entire set together, that the atmosphere on set used to be amazing. And I feel like I'm very grateful for, this opportunity of working with them. A lot of people say that, oh, do you feel like, working with people who are like the best at what they do? And I'm like, how can you even think like that? Like, if anything, it is the greatest opportunity that I'm getting to interact with these people and watch them perform behind the scenes. So these are things I'll take with me for the rest of my life.
Fantastic. And Ritwik, one of our readers, Manbir Singh from Delhi, he says that Ritwik has a certain rawness about himself, and he comes across as a very motivated in the show, not in real life. This is purely for your performance. As a small town guy who really wants to make it big. And we see, there is this thing amazing about this show, is that it somehow creates aspirational content for the people from small town India. Usually, if you see small town in movies and TV in India, are looked upon as content, like content magnets. But very rarely they make an aspirational story to conquer the world. So if you look at Shreya's character, in fact, she talks about singing with this international star. So we see that thing going in. But Ritwik, I think your character actually has a lot of weight to handle, because you have this amazing kill me softly grandfather. And then you have the rest of the clan, the Gharana of Radhe. And so he is like we really see this a lot of mind game going on more than the real thing. Just tell me about, just give this answer to me, that how was this experience of working with these stalwarts? And because, you have more scenes than Mr. Naseeruddin Shah, I think, than most people. And
than any of them on the show.
Yeah,
I think
this is a reasonable estimate. Don't take it like 100%. But just tell me, how was it working? And this part requires you to brush out a lot of stuff with them. So once you are the fan of these big guys, but at the same time, you have to emboss your authority and your way of working on them. Because it looks like a very hard-fought battle for Radhe till the end. Like Amrit was saying in the interview when we spoke, is that the way we wrote even Atul Kulkarni or even Radhe, they are desperate for the approval of their almighty grandfather. So, how did you do it? So here is this balance, a tightrope you need to balance. One is, okay, I'm a new actor and I've got this opportunity. Now I have to show these people their place as we move forward. So how did you do it? Brilliant work.
It was very simple. It was very simple. Ritwik himself was constantly asking for approval from Mr. Naseeruddin Shah. So Radhe was doing that with Panditji. But having, the thing that you said initially, minus the small town bit, everything else is true. I am trying my best to be as motivated as possible, even as a human being, and I'm trying my best to make it big in whatever sense I can, as an artist, as a human being, whatever it is. So I think a lot of that translated into Radhe's performances, the way Radhe is on screen. And I found that thanks to Mr. Anand Tiwari, because I was trying to look at it externally. I was trying to find everything that I can for Radhe externally, but he very casually just said that why don't you just look within? Just stop looking out there, just look within, and that's how I found Radhe. But working with them, as Shreya said, I'm not at all academically driven. I just cannot sit for hours with a book. But so yeah, when there was when I think 19 or 20, and I decided that I should study about acting a little bit before I take it up professionally, because I was doing theater before that. For years I'd been doing theater. A lot of people ask me, why don't you go to NSC or why don't you go to FTII? And I used to joke about this. I used to just say that, it'll take me a long time, यार. 2-3 साल पढ़ के वापस आना पड़ेगा. एक काम करते हैं, let's just start working. One day I'll work with people from NSD or people from FTI, and when I'm working with them, I'll learn from them. And finally it happened. And while we were working, there was this little guy in my head who was taking notes every time he would see Naseem sir performing, or Atul sir performing, or Shiba ma'am performing, or Rajesh sir performing. And as she said, we are extremely fortunate, that this happened with us. And being on set was, as you said, they're an institution themselves. So we were like these university kids, these freshers, who were just too excited to be around them. And that I really hope that from now on, whatever performances I do, if you see any growth, that it's probably because I got to work with them. And at no point did I ever feel nervous or scared about the fact that I'm going to work with these people. How's it going to be? Am I going to pull it off? Are people going to notice me? I mean, I'm standing next to Naseer sir. I mean, this is my debut. Will people even see me because Naseer sir is here? I mean, I wouldn't see me. I won't look at him. So these thoughts didn't really occur. I say these things as a joke right now. I should have thought of these things, but it didn't occur because somewhere at the back of my head, I had the confidence that if I'm standing next to Naseer sir, that itself is a great achievement for me.
Absolutely.
And I guess people will see that, just for an actor to share a frame with the likes of Mr. Kulkarni or Mr. Shah or Rajesh, everybody, all of them, everybody has come with so much experience, including my friend, the guy who plays Kabir, Rahul Kumar. Rahul also has come from so much experience. He started off doing Blue Umbrella, and then he was at Omkara, he was in Three Idiots, he was in so many movies, he's done so much work, and here he is. And so everybody except for Shreya, and even Shreya had done a film before this. So I know, but the two of us were freshers in that university, and for us it was a huge deal because we were not only looked at, we were actually not at all ever looked at as freshers or newbies on set. We were looked at as equals. We were treated as equals, and that is, I think, one of the greatest lessons any artist can teach you, is that you grow if you're ready to adapt from new people, and if you're ready to pass on your knowledge to new people, and if you're just here to spread the joy of your art. I guess that's what creates from an artist and legend from an artist.
Really?
That's what's legendary about these people. So yeah, fun stuff.
In fact, Ritwik and I would have days when only we both were shooting, and we'd finish our shot, and I mean they'd be setting up, and we'd be like, what are we doing? Like, we just saw Naseer sir giving a take yesterday, and like, what are we both doing right now? Like, oh my god, it's a part of the same show. So we would have these really funny conversations where we would second guess what we were doing, but luckily we had Anand and Amrit who were there, like, throughout, telling us, listen guys, no pressure, just do your bit, give your 100%, and don't think about anything else.
Now, so we have a little spicy question. Now, when I say spicy, it's a weird question, but it's a question I need to ask. So this is Yadav, who is a digital marketing professional in Delhi, and he's asking, what about the Instagram real estate before Bandish Bandits and after Bandish Bandits? Shreya?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel both Ritwik and I think one of the reasons we also got along as people were because we never had our phones on us when we were working. We were not one of those people who would take a lot of pictures or be on our phone. For whatever reason, we weren't very social media savvy. The entire team of Amazon and everybody involved with the marketing and Anand and Amrit really helped us through the entire process of promotions. And I feel like you can see that the love that has come in the form of our followers that actually I think went up by, like, we both have say some 10,000 followers, and now we're on to a lot more. So it makes us very happy that as actors, to see that people have reached out to us because of our work, because we were putting up the same pictures, saying the same things on our social media even before Bandish Bandits release. But after the release, I feel like we got a lot more love, and what makes us really happy is the fact that it's all because of our performance, which is a very, very great thing. Now I feel like we have got our social media games on as well. We're at least trying. But again, there's a lot of people we need to thank for that. We can't take credit for it at all.
Ritwik and Shreya, people ask these weird questions, how many followers, blah, 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 blah. Now, when we started our podcast, we were like 10, 11. One interview with the producer of Batman, Michael Uslan. And that guy was like, he got the rights for the comic book to be made into a movie. It is Batman, all the Dark Knights, all things are part of that deal. So, he was just telling me, I really don't understand what is digital. He says, Rahul, can you go ahead and follow me on Instagram? I'm just opening the account now. So that was one of his 10, 20 early followers. And still he's struggling with it. But, your audience of this show are crazy about Instagram and Facebook. Because they put out the music, they put out those beautiful locations. And something which I really loved about the show is the opening credits. It just
yes.
Like, the aerial shots, like, beautiful. And of course, Radhe's uber cool jacket, which comes in as well at the back. I think it looked like a Ed Hardy jacket to me from far.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful jacket, if one can say. And it's just mind-blowing. What do you think? So, Ritwik, now the question is on to you. What about your social and digital handles, pre-BB and post-BB?
I know that Shreya said that we are getting our social media games on. I just know that I'm trying my best to understand this world. I have no idea what people want, what people like, how this works. Even before the show, I think I had like 3,000 or 4,000 followers. I don't even know how those followers or why they were following me back then. So I had no idea. So I don't know what they were looking at or what they were looking for. But after BB released, of course, it shot up like crazy, and then people messaged me saying congratulations on crossing 100K. I was like, is that like a big deal? Should I celebrate? Because I didn't. What happens, So thanks, as Shreya said, that thanks to a lot of people from different teams that have helped us through this entire journey during the release and during the promotions and so on and so forth. Who really taught us a lot of things. I definitely learned a lot of things about the social media and what people like, what people don't, and why they do what they do. But then again, I'll tell you, it's not weird at all. Is because I don't know if you already know this. I think a lot of people already know this, but I'll give you like an inside thing. A lot of studios, production, and casting people and directors, fortunately or unfortunately, do look at what kind of social media traction you have while they are casting an actor. And I think it's quite evident now. Everybody knows that this happens. So I can speak about it. Yeah, so and I'm not saying this because I was a part of this show, and I'm not saying this because this happened with me. Even if it would have happened with somebody else, I would have still, as an actor, felt really great about it that Amazon Prime Video and Zelensky had enough trust in themselves and in their own work and the content they were going to cover that they did not need a million follower actor. They did not need a person who's huge on social media so that they can bring some traction to the show. They just knew that they're making a show that might or might not work, but they were just extremely honest about it. They were making it earnestly, and probably the fact that they gave the two of us a chance to be the so-called lead pair on this show, that itself says a lot about the kind of people they are, and the kind of things they want to do. and hopefully everybody takes notice and follows the example, because I, as an audience, I'm glad that this is happening.
Great. And now we have a question from a danseuse and an Indian classical musician herself, Namrata Jain. She runs the Nritya Culture Academy in Delhi. She's a big fan of Pandit Jasraj and Indian classical music. And the question she's asking is that, did you do the lip syncing on the Bandish, which happened? Was it easy? How did that work out?
I would love to say that it was very difficult and I put in a lot of hard work and what you see is all my dedication, but it wouldn't be true. What I can say most definitely is that Akshat Parekh, our musical coach, was there with me throughout the. He trained me for 2-3 months, and then while we were shooting, he was with me every single day of shoot. He was with me, and we were not only doing practicing together. We were also doing a lot of research together. We were doing a lot of what we can shape Radhe into, and we did a lot of intellectual. Kya kehte hain? We gave each other a lot of information that from if there's something that I knew or if there's something that he knew, and then we shaped Radhe as a singer. And it was challenging, but it was so exciting that it didn't feel tough. It was just for me as an actor to get an opportunity to lip sync, because I'm a huge fan of actors who lip sync really well, and we rarely get to see them lip syncing on classical music. But I think people who can just make you believe that they're singing are extremely fine actors, because it's one of those rare things that happens only in our country. Unless because abroad, if there's a musical, they're actually singing it. I mean, if I'm watching The Greatest Showman, I know that Hugh Jackman is singing it. I've seen the making just to make sure that once again, I need to see, is he really singing it? So I know that they're really singing, but over here, we have a different art form altogether for actors known as lip sync. You're not singing it, but the audience has got to believe that it's you. So I've been very fascinated by that. Even all through my childhood, I used to believe that, oh, this actor is singing because he's so good. So I wanted to achieve that somehow, and I don't know if I completely achieved it, because I have a long way to go as a person who lip syncs well. But the fact that a lot of people have reached out and said that you look authentic as a classical singer, a lot of people have very, very sweetly said that it's unbelievable that you didn't sing it. We thought you sang it, and and their bubble
You should
has
have just
burst
gone with
after
that.
they found out.
Just said, yeah, I sang it.
Oh, I really should have, but yeah, but I cannot take the credit completely if there's any credit to take, but because it will all just go to Akshat Pai because of the way he's worked out.
I actually do want to add, I'm sorry, I do want to add something to Ritwik's answer.
This question was for Ritwik, actually. Just wanted to clear that.
No, I meant I was like for Ritwik only, because I know he all the interviews that we've been saying, he says the same thing, that I had Akshat and I had everybody helping me and stuff. And of course, I've seen Akshat and Ritwik working very hard. But even when you're lip syncing, a lot of times you have to you do it in cuts. And I remember, and I obviously wasn't there too much when he was doing the rehearsing parts. But even as an actor, I remember when they were shooting the climax, Ritwik could sing the entire song in one take, because he had just worked that hard, learned it in whatever way. Because a lot of times, especially, he wasn't even singing words. He was also sometimes singing alap. But he had learned the entire thing. So yes, I know he's being very modest, but I'm sure he must have worked extremely hard, because he wasn't doing it in cuts. They were if it was a wide angle shot, a close up, they would take the entire song, and I could see him sing. And I remember sitting at the monitor that day and just saying, oh my God, he knows the entire thing. He's not even taking a break. So really a big hats off to Ritwik, especially for what he pulled off in the climax.
You want me to compliment you, no? That's why you're giving me so much love.
No, because I really wanted to say this today, because every time you in interviews you say, yeah, I worked with this one, I worked with that one, and I worked on myself and whatever. But it really then seems like, oh, maybe there was an easy way out. But it was actually really difficult, and onlooker, I remember, we were a group of us at the monitor, the AD, the sound supervisor, myself, and our jaws, our writer Lara, and we were sitting there, and when we started doing the climax, we all heard the song, and everybody's jaws went like, did he just pull that off in one go? How did he remember the alap? It's like, it's such a superior alap even for a singer to pull off. For a boy who doesn't really know so much, is not classically trained for so many years, for him to even memorize that and make it look so convincing, it was like, we all are like, I still have a video, by the way, of that. Of shoot.
But let's just call it truth. Okay, I'm a good actor.
Well, I can see the professional working chemistry right now. Like, it's like we both are each other's biggest fans, and I think that really augured
No,
well.
he's my fan. I'm not his fan.
Superb. We had that moment. And now, just a little bit of a question now, something for Shreya now. This is, Shreya, no, this is my question as a movie writer, critic, a podcaster, entrepreneur, is that now you are embodying a new form of a female character. So I'll tell you what I liked about the character. Now, very rarely you see in Bollywood films that there is a high-headed girl who wants to make it big in something which is in small town India. She's not from small town India, but she wants to do something. And she wants that the fair chance and that recognition to prove her talent. At the same time, she has confidence, but she also has self-doubt at times. It just comes out. And what I feel is that at the end of the show, without giving out any spoilers, she takes a different exit route, which a leading lady would never do in a Bollywood film. या तो वो मर जाएगी या वो मार देगी. Apologies, I think we need to cut that. But what I'm saying is that this is what the writers think. I don't agree with it at all. So my question to you is, now as you're going as an actor, what are the 4 characters, 2 from Hollywood, 2 from Bollywood, you want to play? Like you can tell me like characters like ये 2 American films के या global film के और ये 2 Indian characters. You can say which actor has played it, that's not a problem. But talk about the characters.
For Hollywood, I think the number 1 film, there are actually 2 films, one Hollywood, one Bollywood, 2 characters for some reason that have really, I wouldn't say affected me, but have really stayed with me as, like you said, characters I would, dream to, be able to play. One of them is Black Swan, Natalie Portman's role. The entire film, I'm a huge, I feel like that film really changed a lot of things for me, the way I perceived actresses, like you rightfully said, and the character that she played, I think, is one of the most amazing characters for me that I've ever seen on celluloid. So that film for me, for sure, I love the character that she played and everything about it. The fact that she was a ballerina, the entire mental process of what she goes through and her dreams and what happens in the end, and the entire film for me is something I wish I could have been a part of in any sort of way, And another film that growing up that really, again, I really wish I could have been a part of was Black. So it was Rani Mukherjee's character. And in fact, it was a period, I don't remember when both these films came out, but Black came out and simultaneously around some time Bunty or Bubbly came out.
Okay.
And these were both characters that I fell in love with. Like I really look up to Rani Mukherjee as one of my favorite actresses. So I just thought it was amazing that, an actor could pull off a character like she did in Black and then, get into a character like she did in Bunty or Bubbly. Of course, she's done a lot more films where, her characters, she's done amazing acting. But at that point, I really liked these 2 films a lot. And more recently, I feel I really enjoyed, I'm actually somebody who likes all kinds of films. So I recently saw a film called Thappad. And I really liked, again, Taapsee, the way she portrayed that character, especially, before that scene, Man Marziyan. So I think I get really drawn by people who can, just shock me. Because I've seen them over time and I'm expecting, say a certain kind of a performance from an actor. And then suddenly I'm sitting there and I'm like, how did she do that? And I know I can go on with my list, but I have to mention these 2 roles as well. It's not an actress's part, but I love the role that Shah Rukh Khan played in Kal Ho Na Ho. I think that's another character if I could play a female version of it. And something very, very close to home is Mohini's character. In fact, I remember speaking to Anand about it very recently. One day we were just chatting over something and, I was just talking to him and he was like, as a workshop at home, why don't you do this exercise where you're playing a younger Mohini? Because I really loved her character, and just the way Shiva ma'am has pulled off that character through expressions more than dialogues, and just with her presence. I mean, I think she's done such a phenomenal job. So these are really certain characters that have been drawn that I really hope I can play at some point in my life.
Very nice, very detailed response. Ritwik, your favorite performances or favorite characters you want to play? I can see a lot of references on your wall at the back.
I was going to get to it, where I really want to tell you that it's an honor for me that I'm on the same podcast where the producer of the Batman series has been. Because you can see the amount of references around
Okay,
Batman and the
just to
Joker.
tell you, if you're a Batman fan, we got so what we'll do, we are actually having a podcast with Boss Logic. Boss Logic is one of the world's greatest graphic comic artists, and he has created the new red Batman look, that red and black Matt Reeves film.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
So if you
he's
love
the one who
Batman,
created it.
yeah, he's one of the creators of that. It's very tough to get these people, but we have, this is quite funny that India has this thing called DC community. So DC comics communities in Bengal, in Kerala, in Tamil Nadu, and these are groups of lovers of Batman. But please carry on with the answer you were giving.
Yeah. So many. How do I? At the top of my head, I just remember Jared Leto's part from Dallas Buyers Club. If I would ever get to play something like from Dallas Buyers Club, Jared Leto and
was one of my favorite all-time greats.
Yeah, if I ever get to play something like that, I would just be in awe of myself that I landed the part.
It will take me quite a while to stomach you playing that character.
Oh, I crave for such parts. I crave it.
And you are last thing about you, I can imagine, is you are a dope fiend. He's the last thing I can imagine about you.
Yeah, and just to play a transsexual and so much more, and it was a character filled with so much love, and the kind of ease and the kind of glitter in the eye that Jared Leto played it with, will always stay with me, and it's a fantastic performance, one of the best I've ever seen. What else?
I can
Any of Tom Hanks' parts.
I know your Bollywood answer.
No, you don't know my Bollywood answer.
What are you
I
saying?
actually don't know.
I
Maybe
know,
you're right. I don't
it's
know.
not the I know. Anyways, okay. I'll say it. I'll tell you right or wrong.
So again, Hollywood, I think any of Tom Hanks' parts, right from Forrest Gump to Castaway, or The Terminal, or Captain Phillips. I love these parts. I think they are phenomenally performed parts, and I really want to play something like that. Closer home, Bollywood. I would. What were you gonna say? First, say what you were gonna say, Shreya.
Anand.
Yeah. Yes. I would love to play Rajesh Khanna's part from Anand. I would love to play Anand from Anand. I would love to play Jitendra Sir's part from Parichay. Which was a remake of Sound of Music.
That's actually.
I love these characters.
No, I would say that part of Indian cinema. See, I'll tell you, I and Amrit are like 4 or 5 years apart when we were in film school. And, people were asking questions across our class and, that what you want to make, what you want to do. So one of my favorite, as you can see, is here. As you can see in my t-shirt, is Stanley Kubrick. Okay. So I always wanted to, be like Kubrick. But Amrit would say from day one, Rahul, मुझे Bollywood फिल्में बनानी है, वो जो पेड़ों के चारों तरफ नाचने वाली फिल्में होती हैं. And I was like, oh my God, this guy is so clear of what he wants to do. And that is the reason, we are seeing this unique confluence of different minds working in a very nice story. And
absolutely.
And anything else you want to share, Ritwik, on this? Or these are the two parts you love?
Yeah, there's so much more. I can just keep going on and on and on. I'm a huge David Fincher fan. And I would love to play Mark Zuckerberg from Social Network.
Wow.
Because the way
yes,
the way he's played that part is outstanding. I was watching the making of that film, and I remember Andrew Garfield saying that I wanted to play Mark. And I didn't want the other part, and I tested for Mark. And I actually walked up to David after I got to know that I didn't get the part, and I asked him, why did you do that? Like, I really wanted to play this part. What is wrong with me? Like, just give me another chance. Let's do another test. And David said, hold on. Let me show you who we got. And then he showed him a test, and Andrew Garfield just went, okay, that's the right choice. So I'll do the other one. It's fine.
See,
And
you guys are amazing. So one way he wants to play the Pariche wala Jitender, and on the other side he wants to play Mark Zuckerberg from Social Network. So
yeah.
you guys know your stuff. I can just say that.
Yeah, we're very greedy. We want everything.
Yeah, we want to exactly. So true.
Okay, guys. Now just tell us about yourself and briefly. Shreya, just talk about where are you from, what do you do to our viewers, and your vision for the coming year. We are going through a very tough year for humanity across the world. We are seeing some challenges, how the world is operating. The status quo has been, totally demolished. And just want from both of you one or two lines about yourself and what is your vision for the coming year and what are you wishing your viewers? That's the word we're talking about, right?
Well, absolutely. Firstly, I just hope everyone who's listening to this is healthy and your families are healthy, because I feel that is of utmost importance in today's time. Firstly, if you watch Bandish Bandits, thank you so much for watching our show. And if you haven't, please go watch it. We really hope that, we could bring a smile to everyone's faces who watched it. And I think that would be my hope, or my goal for the rest of my life is through my work that I can entertain people, make people smile, make people cry. Maybe if I'm playing a villain someday, they hate me, just hate me, love me, don't ignore me. That's something that I've always wanted from the work that I do. So I really hope that I get to continue entertaining people and being a working actor is what I call it. We are in really, really tough times right now, and I really think that everything's just so unpredictable. So I've really started becoming somebody who lives in the moment. This wasn't me before 2020, but I just feel like that's one thing that I've really, truly learned from this year. So let's just hang in there, all of us, and hopefully 2021 will be a much, much better year for all of us. But until then, let's try to stay home and stay safe.
Ritwik.
I would actually quote a very famous film director called Ram Gopal Verma. And I remember watching one of his interviews, and he said this thing which stayed with me forever because I found it, one, very amusing, two, sometimes very apt. He had once, an interviewer had asked him, what would you like to say to budding filmmakers, new filmmakers, and what advice would you like to give? And he was taking a walk while giving this interview, and stopped for a second. He turned to the interviewer and he said, my only advice is don't take anybody's advice. Unquote. So having said that, whatever I say today to the viewers who's going to watch this or who's going to hear the podcast and everybody who's out there giving us so much love, is firstly, I do not stand in a place to give anybody advice. But I think from my limited experiences professionally and personally, all I can say is do not stop believing in yourself. Whatever happens, you are your own cheerleader, your own critique. Just remember to be authentic to yourself, never lie to yourself, and just have fun. Just have fun right now, yaar. Kal ka stress, parso ka stress, forget it. Just have fun.
Okay, guys, this is such a pleasure, and interacting with both of you. It looks like we are sitting in a college canteen, and having a regular chai pe charcha, as the talks about. And we look forward to your work in the coming years. The team of Filmi Baniya, please share about our YouTube channel, Shreya, Ritwik, on your handles, and talk about this interview and the work we are doing. We need support from alternate universe actors like you to push our cause. And I would just say that this has been a real pleasure. I got to learn a lot in this interview as well about what dreams and aspirations are in the minds of people who are now trying to build their career in a new world, in a new format, if I can say that. And this is also the real tribute to the vision of Amrit and Anand, Amrit Pal Singh Bindra and Anand Tripathi. And A big hug to both of you. Wish you safety and good health in the coming years. And I hope we meet sometime soon when you guys are in Delhi. And we would love to catch up with you and share your new ideas. What are you guys doing? And let us know if we can be of any other association with you for any kind of promotion you are doing around Bandish Bandits and your future projects.
Absolutely,
Guys,
and thank you.
Sorry, I was about to finish. Please do.
No, I really just wanted to thank you and your entire team and Filmi Baniya for having us firstly. And now that I know that the kind of privilege that I have that I'm here having this conversation with you after the kind of people, who've already been on this show and on this podcast. So that's a huge deal. Thank you for that. And I really, really look forward to more of these. And yeah, for everybody watching this, please like, share, and subscribe. Okay, you've got to.
That's the shop talk I wanted to avoid, but what to do? Well, that's great.
I'm all about plugins.
Superb. And this was the amazing Shreya, Chaudhary, Tamanna, and Ritwik, Bhowmik, Radhe from Amazon Originals, top-rated show across the world, Bandish Bandits. This is Rahul, your Filmi Baniya. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you so much for having us.
Well, I want to ask you a few questions once we go off the record.
Okay, sure.